here. Okay, let's get it. It has an intro. Okay, now is it? Are we on live?
Yeah, we're
Oh, let's get it. Let's go.
Yeah, we're to it.
Okay, so then you're gonna play it, and then what happens? You have to switch.
It's gonna keep looping out. So.
Oh, you'll keep looping if you don't. Oh, okay, I got you.
You're gonna go and start watching.
So you didn't say anything. Let's go. What's up? Right. Succeed.
Shalom Israel. We have the I.S.U.P.K, the Israelite School Universal Practical Knowledge. Start out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yahanna. We teach every day, Lord willing, that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are the true Jews of the Bible, and the oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. Right? Today is the Sabbath service, right, where we go over the Old Testament, teaching the history of the Bible, teaching the stories of the Bible, all right, and showing how it still relates to today's time, right? So now let us call up our first brother, to Marasar. Say terrestrial.
Stand.
Stop our first brother.
Mawasa, Bani Hawa, Bani Ashal.
Mawasa, Bani Hawa, Bani Ashal.
Yabashim Yashar Pakistan.
Yabashir Yashar.
Bani Ashal.
Sign Christ. How far we done? How far we done? Needs to face the east.
In the Lord prayer in Hebrew, Abanaw, Bashamani, Kodash, Ayah, Shemka, Yahweh, Rabbuka, Abaa, Ayah, Asha, Baratza, Kawa, Ayah, Bashamani, Ethonina, Lakam, Kal, Jawam, Wasiraki, Kawakina, Kasalakina, Kawakina, Wala'a, Taba'aina, Baisai 1, Abal, Hawashina, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Lakar, Amalakwa, Alta Parwa, Wa'alwa Layam, Aman.
This is the Lord's Prayer in English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our debts, we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it.
Here's the power in Hebrew. Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. Baruch Hashem. Atayina. Akak. La Parah. Kal Makara. Wakal Marawa. Akak. La Tahar. Ha Matazarayam. Akak. La Hakoyam. Hamatayam. Hakak, Al Karosh, Ha Tamala, Agarushan, Bashem Yahusha, the Waraman.
It's the parable of the power in English. Yahweh. In the name of Yahweh. Please. Give us the power. The power to heal. All manner of sickness. And all manner of disease. The power to cleanse the lepers. The power to raise the dead. The power against unclean spirits. To cast them out. In the name of Yahweh. Thank you. So be it.
Go Psalms 121 in Hebrew. Asha, Yahanna, Harayam, Mayathan, Yabah, Azari, Ain, Yahweh, Asha, Shemayim, Baratazah, Alatan, Namawat, Regalka, Adonawam, Shemarka, Hana, La'ah, Wala'ah, Yalishan, Sharamah, Yasha'al, Yahweh, Shemarka, Yahweh, Tazar, Ayat, Yamka, Yaram, Yashamash, Yakanka, Yarak, Yahweh, Yashamarka, Makarai, Yashamar, of the Pashka, Yahweh, Yashamar Taza Anka, Baba Anka, Mayadai, Ayalam.
This is Psalms 121 in the English. I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills. From which cometh my help? My help cometh from Yahweh. Which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. Yahweh is thy keeper. Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. Yahweh shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and even forevermore.
The Psalms 83 in Hebrew. Alahayim, Al-Damiel Lakar, Al-Dakarash, Al-Dashakwat, Al-Yahanna, Waba'anka, Yahamaya 1, Ra'ash, Al-Anyaka, Ra'ai Yamwa, Sharadai, Wa'adah, Wa'ai Tazawar, Al Tazapamanya, Amarka, Lakakwa, Nanakakiyada, Gadawa, Wala'ai Yasakar, Shem Yashal, Awadai, Kaya, Ai Tazawar, Nabad, Kakwa, Al Yamka, Barath, Rakaraswa, Alahaya, Adawam, Wayashamai, Alayam, Waba'aka, Gabal, Wa'ai Mawan, Wa'ai Malak, Parashah, Ain Yashapwa, Talawar, Gum Ashawar, Narawa, Ma'ai, Ayawar, Sarai, Labaya Lawat, Selah, Shalaham, Amat Kasaya Sarai, Kayakyan, Barakal, Kawaswan, Nashadamwa, Ba'aya da Ayro, Ayawa, Daman, La'adama, Shawadamwa, Nadad, Yamawa, Kara, Kaza Abuk, Kaza Sabak, Kaza Tazal, Anai, Kau Nasa Yan Kamwa, Ashar, Amarwa, Nayar Shar, Nanawa, Nanawa, Alahayam, Shawatamwa, Kagawa, Kakwash, Lapanya Kaash, the Ayro, Wa Kava Dabalat, Wa Garam, Khan, Dawadampo, Basa Araka, Wa Masad, Wa Pa'amka, Dabahayam, Malad, Panaham, Kalawan, Wayar Barsha, Shimka, Yaharo, Yashapwa, Wa'ai Aywa, Adiyai, Wa'ai Kapara, Wa'ai Ibadwa, Wa'ai Dawa, Kahar Ata, Shimka, Lahao, Labarika, I Lawan, Al-Kahar Al-Raktaza.
This is Psalms 83 in the English. Keep not thy silence, O Yahweh. Hold not thy peace. And be not still. O Yahweh. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult. And they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people. And consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, Come, and let us cut them off from being a nation. That the name of Israel may be no more remembered. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites of Moab and the Hagarim, Gabal and Ammon and Amalek, the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre. Ashur also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot. Selah. Do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin, as the brook of Kishon, which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth. Made their nose like a rib, and like Ze'eg. Yea, all their princes, Azabah, and Azalmunna, who said, let us take to ourselves the house of Yahweh in possession. Oh my power, make them like a wheel. As the stubble before the wind. As the fire burns the wood. As the flames set the mountains on fire. So persecute them. With their tempests. And make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame. And they may seek thy name. Oh Yahweh. Let them be confounded. And troubled. Forever. Yea. Let them be put to shame. Let them be put to shame. And perish. That men may know that thou, whose name alone is Jehovah, art the most high of all the earth. Sorry. Again, Shalom Israel. This is the Sabbath service. Priest and Officer Adar Moth sitting in for the mighty man Akas. All right. Let's see. And today we left off in, I believe, Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy chapter 3. Yes. All right. No sweat. No sweat. We're good. So let's start us off in Deuteronomy chapter 3, verse 9. Let's start off. We'll go ahead and start off in the Hebrew. It's like start at verse 8. Start at verse 8. If you can. Are you up to it to do 7 verses?
Okay.
Most time, right? All right. All right. So Deuteronomy chapter 3, verse 8.
Deuteronomy 3, verse 8. Wana kwath ba'ais ha'ara ha'rataza mayad shanya Malakia Mariah Ashar Ba'aibar Hayaradan Slaki
Jordan.
Manakal Arnan Har Karamara Maran. Verse 9. Tazia da Nayam, Tazia da Slaki, Tazia da Nayam, Yakara'al, Mara Lakara Mara.
Okay. Lakar Ramara.
Lakara Ramaram. Shara Sharayan. Waha'a Mariah.
Okay. Good.
Yakara Kwa'ar. Yakara. Lawa. Shanyar. Kal. Iriah. Okay, verse 10. Hamayashar.
Good.
Rakal. Hagalai. Rakal. Habashan.
I.S.U.P.K. That's the top.
Salaka. Good.
Salaka. Wadaraya.
Okay.
Iraya. Mamalakath.
Good.
Iraq. Irwad.
Okay.
Baba Shan.
Good. Okay. Good. Officer in the parts, if you could go ahead and finish off the next four for me in verse 11.
Let's start at 11?
Yes.
Okay.
You can continue on. Good job, Marcel.
Give him a hand.
Give him a hand. Good.
All right. Deuteronomy chapter 3, verse 11. Hebrew. Kaya. Rock. Al. Waga. Balak. Ha. Bashan. Nashai. Ara. Mayai. Kar. Mayathar. Hi. Rapai. Ayam.
Good.
Hana. I. Roshwa. I rush. Bara. Wall.
Hold on, that's Barzal. Just like
Barzal.
like our brother up in Philly. When he's
Barzal.
iron, so remember that. That's Barzal.
Sorry. Barzal. Hala. Hi. Roth. Bara. Boss.
Good.
Banya. I. Mawan. Dashai. Amai. Roth. Ira. Ka.
Good.
Ra'ai. Rabbi. I. Baroth. Raka. Baha. Ba'ai. Moth. Ayash. Verse 12. Ra. Ice. Hi Arwataza. Arwata. Hi. Za. Ice. Ya rush. The walk. Ya Shainawa.
Okay.
But ice.
Good.
Ha rock. My I a star owl the call none ka tazaya har God la'ai wa I wa na da the wa
La Ra'ai Rabanya. Ra La Gadia, last verse 13. Wa Yakar. Sloppy. Wa Yadar. Hai Ga La'ai.
Agai.
Waga'ai. Wakal. Hai Bashawan.
Habashan.
Bashan. Habashan. My lie. Kaf. I Waga. La Da the Wa. La Ka Tazaya. Shabbat.
Good.
Hi Nai Shah.
Okay.
Cow. Cabal. Hi I Ragal. Lakal. Hi Bashwan. Hi Roth. Wakwa Ra. I Rataza. Rapai Adam.
Right. Good. Give it up for those brothers. All right. And I understand, when you hear this, this is a struggle. But here we're learning together. We're going over the scriptures, but we're going over them in Hebrew. Okay, and this is what it sounded. This is close to what it sounded like when Moses was speaking to the children of Israel. All right. So now let's go back up to what I believe we started at verse 8 in the English.
Deuteronomy 3 and 8 in the English. And we took at the time out of the hand of the 2 kings of the Amorites the land that was on this side Jordan,
All right.
from the river of Arnon unto Mount Hermon.
Okay, and just real quick, if you remember from last week, we were talking about how Israel was taking over lands essentially throughout Africa that the Most High was giving them. Okay, they were going to war. Okay, and Israel is winning. All right, let's continue.
Okay. Verse 9, which Hermon the Sidonians call Sariah, and the Amorites call it Shanir.
Okay.
Verse 10, all the cities of the plain, and all Gilead, and all Bashan, unto Salak, and Edrei, cities of the kingdom of Og and Bashan. Verse 11, for only Og, king of Bashan, remained of the remnant of giants. Behold, his bedstead was a bedstead of iron. Is it not of Rabbath, of the children of Ammon? 9 cubits was the length thereof, and 4 cubits the breadth of it, after the cubit of a man.
Okay, so now, again, this is history. Okay, these are scriptures that pastors do not touch. Okay, because they don't know how to get this to, I guess, relate to their congregation. Okay, but here when we're going over these scriptures, this is essentially these are stories. This is history that is told. All right, history that is told and is passed down from generation to generation. And then hey, this is how Israel was established. Okay, when you always hear about how God is all love, but here throughout the Old Testament, throughout these scriptures, we're seeing how the Most High is about war, and He's sending His children, sending His people off to war to conquer lands. All right, so that He can have them. You understand? All right, and also we look at it, and what word did we see? We saw giants. We saw giants, and so now, and even kind of measured them, gave them the height of these people. These are some big people. Okay, These are tall people, and not only do they have a tall stature, but giants also refers to what? What else does giants refer to other than stature?
Slocky, like famous, like.
Very good, famous. So not only stature, but status as well. So, okay, not only these were tall people, we're not going to call them giants as far as like being 20 feet tall or whatnot, but these were just taller than average people, and they also had They had stature and they had status in the earth. Okay, and guess what happened? Guess what's happening? Israel is taking these people down for the Most High. All right, continue on.
Okay, verse 12. And this land which we possessed at that time from Aror, which is by the river Arnon, and half Mount Gilead, and the cities thereof, gave I unto the Reubenites and to the Gadites. Verse 13, last verse. And the rest of Gilead and all Bashan, being the kingdom of Og, gave I unto the half tribe of Manasseh, all the region of Argob, with all Bashan, which was called the land of giants.
All right. So again, like Israel is taking over, man. Israel is not showing any fear, but Israel does not have to fear because the Most High is on their side. Okay, they are following after the commandments, following after the orders that the Most High has given them. Okay, so now let's continue on. We got verse 14, and I'll go ahead. If you could, if y'all brothers don't mind, I'll read this one in the Hebrew. All right, so starting at verse off. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 3, verse 14, in the Hebrew. Ya'ayar, Bun, Manashah, Laquak, Af, Cow, Gabal, Arugab, Ir, Gabawal, Haga Shawarya, Waha, Ma'akafya, Wayaquara, Atham, Al, Shamwa, Af, Hanashan, Hawath, Ya'ayar, Ir, Hayawam, Hazah. Verse 15. Walamakayar, Nathafya, Af, Hagalyad. Verse 16. Walara, Ra'abanya, Walagadia, Nathafya, Man, Halgayad, Wa'ar, Nakal, Arnan, Bawak, Hanakal, Galyad, Wagabal, Wa'ai, Yabak, Hanakal, Gabawal, Banya, Imawan. Verse 17. Waha, Irabah, Waha Yaran, Waha Hayadan, Wagabal, Manakarath, Wa'ai, Yum, Hira'abah, Yum, Hamalak, Thakath, Ashadath, Habasaga, Mazar Rakak. Verse 18. Wa'atazawa, Athakam, Ba'ath, Hahawa, La'amar Yahawa, Alahayakam, Nathan Lakam, Ath, Ha'arataza, Haza'ath, La'rashatha, Kalawaztazayam, Tha'irabar, Tha'aibarwa, Lapanya, Akim, Banya Yasha'ala, Kal, Banya, Kayal. How many verses I got left? See, verse 19.
Okay.
Last one.
Started at 14.
Sorry.
Started 14. So which verse you on?
I'm on 19. Okay, so I gotta start at 21 at the water. Rock, Nashakam, Watabakam, Wama Kwanakam, Yada Aithya Kaya, Makwana, Rab, Lakam, Yashabwa, Ba'aya Rakam, Ashar, Nathathia, Lakam. Verse 20. I, Ashar, Yanyak, Yahweh, La'akim, Kakam, Waya Rashwa, Gum, Hum, Harataza, Ashar, Yahweh, Alahayakam, Nathan, Lakam, Ba'abar, Hayardan, Washabatham, Ayash, Laya Rashafwa, Ashar, Nathathia, Lakam. And last verse in the Hebrew, Wa'af, Yahawashwai, Tazawayathya, Ba'aith, Hahawa, La'amar, Ayanyak, Hara'ath, Ath, Kal Ashar, Aisha, Yahweh, Alahayakam, Lashanya, Hamalakam, Ha'alah, Khan, Ya'ashar, Yahweh, Lakal, Hamalakathwa, Ashar, Athah, Ibar, Shema. Alright? So now let's go back up. Start me off again in the English. While we start.
Deuteronomy 3:18. And I commanded you at that time, saying, the Lord your God hath given you this land to possess it. Ye shall pass over armed before your brethren, the children of Israel.
We start there, did we?
14.
Yeah, we can
14,
start.
Slakia. 14, Slakia. Deuteronomy 3:14. Jared, the son of Manasseh, took all the country of Argob unto the coast of Geshuri and Makathai, and called them after his own name, Bashan Havathjer.
Yeah, that's a lot. It's like it. Like it. Good. But here's the question: like a lot of these names, like you probably won't see a lot in history or even hear of them. But there's one in particular that you will. Manasseh. Does anybody know who or what is Manasseh? Sis?
I want to say Cuba.
Absolutely. Give the sister a hand.
Okay.
Absolutely. Manasseh is one of the tribes of Israel, and Manasseh, when you do research, Manasseh relates back to the people who are in Cuba now. Okay, our brothers and sisters who are the Cubans. All right, continue on.
Unto this day, verse 15, and I gave Gilead unto Machir, verse 16, and unto the Reubenites, and unto the Gadites, I gave from Gilead even unto the river Arnon, half the valley.
All right, so now, again, like the Most High is giving Israel land that they have conquered. Okay, separating them from other nations. Does anybody know who the Reubenites are? Brother, go ahead.
The Seminole Indians.
That's right. So that's the Seminole Indians. And who are the Gadites? All right.
Salakia, northern natives.
Absolutely. So you see, back then they understood that they had a common enemy, and they came together. All right. And that's what our people need now. So many times we always hear about black on black crime. We hear about blacks fighting against the Mexicans, against Latinos. Okay, we even heard throughout history that the Native Indians they had different sects, different tribes amongst themselves, and they were fighting against each other. But they forgot that they had a common enemy. Okay, and that's what the scriptures remind us of. The scriptures remind us of the history when our people were united. You know what I'm saying? They were very strong. They were united. They were a strong army, and they were a force to reckon with. Okay, they were unstoppable because they came together and they were united under the Most High and followed after His orders. All right. Continue on.
Come. And the border even unto the river Jabbok, which is the border of the children of Ammon. Verse 17, the plain also and Jordan, and the coast thereof, from Chinnereth even unto the sea of the plain, even the salt sea, under Ashdoth Pisgah, eastward. Verse 18, and I commanded you at that time, saying, the Lord your God hath given you this land to possess it. Ye shall pass over armed before your brethren, the children of Israel, all that are meet for the war.
Okay, so go ahead.
Sorry, I got a question. It's a crazy Christian back at home, man. You know, just like in this verse right here, you know, it's talking about ye shall pass over armed before your brethren, the children of Israel. Armed is in us having our axes, our arrows, and swords and stuff like that.
Yes.
You know, it's kind of hard. Sometimes I don't even think it's worth even trying to break down to them, because some of them so hell bent on that. Oh, Israel, everything was spiritual. Our wars were spiritual. Like if we didn't actually fight with swords and knives and stuff like that. That, you know, they try to make it seem like more political. We went in there with a political voice. We preached to the people and we conquered these lands and stuff. Nah, it's bloodshed. But they don't understand that type of war. You know,
and see, exactly right. And so now with that person that you're battling, that you're arguing with, so that they say about a lot of this was spiritual. This was like spiritual war.
Come.
Slap them in the face. Slap them in the face. You see what I'm saying? And see what their reaction is. See what their reaction is. Now they're gonna get upset. You say, hold on, no, I'm not the one who's fighting you. That was spiritual. That was spiritual. You see what I'm saying?
Come.
And see, that's what we're talking about. Like when we talk about these scriptures, we break these scriptures down. We want to break them down like in a practical sense. Okay, we want them to relate to you in a practical sense, like, and it's showing you like how delusional like Christianity is. Okay, and we can say that because we've been there. We've been there. You know, we were in those congregations. You know what I'm saying? We were at those churches. And we believed the ideologies. You know what I'm saying? We believed those theories. Okay? And a lot of times we believed them simply on blind faith. That's why we believed them. Just because of blind faith. You know, and we didn't have anything else to rely on. Okay? But now, when it comes to I.S.U.P.K, we're giving you something that's more tangible. Give you something that you can really hold on to, and it's something that's more practical. You know, that's why when we say that Christ is black, that's something that's practical that you can believe. Okay, when we telling you that the oppressor is the devil, showing you his crimes and how biblical it is, and why he hates you. Black people can never answer the question why they're hated so much. They can never answer that question. They just say, well, you get used to it. You get used to it. You know. I was just talking about there was an inventor who apparently can make fresh water like out of the air and dilute things. He can take all the contaminants out and purify the water. And you know what people comment on the video? Well, he's going to end up dead soon. That's what they said. He's going to end up dead soon. They're just so used to being trodden down. You know, blacks always want to say, oh, we were kings, we're queens. You know what I'm saying? That's how they want to, that's what they so-called want to greet each other. But when it comes to the oppressor, then there's nothing else to say. You know, it's like, oh yes, well it's because I'm here. This is how it's supposed to be. You know, I'm used to being a second, third class citizen. I'm used to being treated lesser than an animal, lesser than a dog, if you will. And guess what? Blacks are okay with that. Blacks are okay with that, man. But again, like we in the I.S.U.P.K, those are the chains that we're trying to break. Those are the bonds from the Christianity, you know what I'm saying? Break those chains from your slave master, physically, mentally, and spiritually. All right? And that's why we always dive into these scriptures. You what I'm saying? Because these scriptures is what's going to save us. Following after these scriptures is what's going to save us. Not just giving praise, not just complimenting, but following the orders. All right? Oh, sorry, Christ. Keep going.
Okay. Verse 19. But your wives and your little ones and your cattle, for I know that ye have much cattle, shall abide in your cities, which I have given you.
Okay, now, this is interesting. Because earlier, we saw how, like, brothers are going to be in arms. They're going to have their weapons with them, right? And they're passing through the city. But then the next verse says, but your wives and your little ones shall abide in your cities. Now, that's interesting, because when we see other Israelite groups, we see them out on the streets. What are they doing, Deshaun? When we see like other Israelite groups, what are they doing?
They might, when they come through, they might salute us, but they still got
like
separate
with this,
mentality.
think about this. Think about the scripture that we just read. Think about the scripture that we just read. It's like if your wives, your children, they're going to abide in the cities where you work, as our men go out to war.
Salaki. They have their wives and children on the front lines.
In the front lines.
Yeah, Salaki.
In the front lines. And what do we say? What do we say? That life is about war.
War.
Life is about war. When we go out on those streets and we're saying the oppressor is the devil the Bible speaks of, we're saying that black people, you shouldn't eat this because it's not healthy and because the Most High said. That is war. That's a fight. We have to fight against our people. We have to fight against our oppressor. Our oppressor does not like it when we point out his flaws. He doesn't like that at all, and he will fight us tooth and nail for it. Go ahead.
Salaki, if I may, I don't want such a heavy point that you're bringing out. You know, everything dealing with the truth that we say out in the streets is dangerous. You know,
that's right.
I mean, prime example, the Maccabees. You know, one of the Maccabee brothers that said they weren't going to eat pork.
That's right.
They actually got killed for that.
They got killed for that.
So we wouldn't dare have our women and our children on the street when we're telling Christians you're not supposed to eat pork, and knowing that history have showed that could get you killed. You know,
that's right.
It's just blatantly proof to show you that that's warfare.
Absolutely. See, just like you said, the Maccabees. Who else? You know, Christians always want to talk about the Hebrew boys, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
Yeah,
they were standing up for what they believed in as well. And they left their family behind because they didn't want their family to have to deal with that danger. You understand? They didn't want to put them out in the forefront. So that's why, like, when we go out to camp, we leave our sisters behind. We leave the women behind because we want to keep them protected. All right. But now, yes, we will speak out to sisters on the streets. But after that, he says, come into class, you know, because we don't want you out here. You understand? But when we talked about like the other Israelite groups, what they're doing, they have church out on the streets. They have church on the streets. Like they have a congregation, and you'll see women, you'll see children with them. You understand? But they're not getting the work done as the Most High said. They're not doing the work that I.S.U.P.K is doing. All right, because those other groups, they're not fighting against the oppression. They're not fighting against them. We fight against the oppression, physically and mostly spiritually. That's what we're trying to do, because the fight is fighting against the devil, fighting against Satan, okay, and fighting against the idolatries that Christianity has set in on our people. Go ahead.
Slock is just another heavy point that you bringing out. You know, prime example. What about 4 weeks ago we was at camp and we was out there speaking, and the oppressors would walk around with the ARs and stuff like that. Right. They had their wives, you know, those other Hebrew camps had their wives and their children. You could tell when they came down to us. Oh, did you see the guys? You guys come through here?
Sure did.
They were real.
They sure did. They were
uneased about that oppressor walking around with those ARs and stuff like that. And they had their wives and children out there, and like, you know,
that's
we're
right.
thinking that, you know, she not even out here to begin with, you know.
There you go. There you go. That's what we're talking about, man. Everything we do is biblical, and it's also practical. It's also practical, man. I'm sorry, please continue.
Okay.
Start over with that verse again.
Verse 19. Deuteronomy 3:19. But your wives and your little ones and your cattle, for I know that ye have much cattle, shall abide in your cities, which I have given you.
Slocky.
Go ahead.
Another quick question. When the scripture use like the word abide, does it mean like a comfortable living? You should live comfortably at that time when they're using the word abide.
Well, let's look up the definition of abide. Let's look that up. You know I like definitions.
Come on.
Let's look it up so we can make sure.
Come. The definition of abide: accept or act in accordance with a rule, decision, or recommendation.
Okay, read that last part. The accept part.
Accept or act in accordance with a rule, decision, or recommendation.
Okay, that sounds good. I'm trying to see if I can find it in a Bible dictionary. I don't have it in this one here. And now, you said to accept? Because I know usually when we hear abide, we think of like to live with or to dwell in. So read it for me again.
Come. To accept or act in accordance with a rule, decision, or recommendation.
Okay, a decision or recommendation. Okay, so now, and your question is,
Was it being and living in a comfortable state when they say, when they were telling them to abide there? Was it just, I guess in a sense it was, because you're telling them, do this right here, follow these rules so you can live.
yeah, and also, okay, so with that last definition, okay, to live and abide by a separate, like pretty much like following an order, right? And also we think of what to live and to dwell in. Okay. So now, hold on. So now, what are describe the children of Israel in one word?
So I can say that again.
What are the children of Israel supposed to be in one word? Sis?
Obedient.
Okay, obedient. Gashan?
Holy.
Holy.
Oh, okay.
Holy.
Separate.
Right? And holy is separate. So yeah, so now when we abide in these cities, this is something we can be comfortable in, because now we're separated from these nations. We're separated from other heathens. Okay? And also we abide because we're following after the order of the Most High. Go ahead, Napash.
I was just saying, well, the definition of abide is right there in verse 20. You carefully read verse 20.
Oh,
You carefully break it out, it's right there. So.
excellent. Okay, let's go. Keep reading. Keep reading.
Deuteronomy 3:20. Until the Lord have given rest unto your brethren, as well as unto you, and until they possess the land which the Lord your God hath given them beyond Jordan. And then shall ye return every man unto his possession, which I have given you.
I like that as well. I like that as well. So you see, like, yes, to abide is to live here. Okay, abide is also a mental thing as well. How you read the definition when you accept and you're following after an order. You understand? All right.
That's lovely.
Go ahead.
Let me break it down. That means until the Lord had given you rest. That means until. You know what I'm saying? Like you have an order to do. Until you do His order. You know what I'm saying? Until you possess the land, then you come back home to your wives, children, and cattle.
There you go. That's right. So that's what we're talking about. So like until, because work is not finished yet. So when work is finished, yes, then we can do that. Absolutely. Go ahead.
Slaki, can we precept that with this is not our rest?
I like that. Let's read that. Gashan, you look it up for me, please. Baba Shah.
It's Michael 2:10. Michael 2.
Get that? Where's it at?
Michael 2:10.
Okay, Micah 2:10. I was in the parts. Go ahead and read that for me, Baba Shah.
Come on. This book of Micah, chapter 2, verse 10. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest.
All right.
Because it is polluted, it shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction.
Absolutely. I like that. I like that a lot. Just how we're reading in Deuteronomy, how the people had to get up and they had to move, okay? And how in Micah, where the verse said, like the land was what?
Polluted.
Polluted. Okay, so when it's polluted, there are contaminants. Okay, contaminants can make you sick. Contaminants can also kill you. So now, what's the Most High do? The Most High sends in the vaccine. The Most High is going to send in the remedy. And here, the UPK is the vaccine. Under Commander Yahanna, we're that remedy. You understand? We're going to move those people out. You understand? But in order for us to do that, we first have to come together and be in order under Christ, under the Most High. All right. Now because like throughout history, we've seen like so many political groups. We've seen the Civil Rights Movement. We've seen the Marcus Garvey movement. What else have we seen? We've seen what, the Black Panther movement. Who else?
Martin Luther King.
We saw Martin Luther King. All right. We saw Malcolm X. And how far did it go? Where did it get us? Nowhere. We're still in the same predicament. We're still in the same predicament because all of those movements did not follow after the order of the Most High. And that's why they failed. When was the Civil Rights Movement, when did that begin? 19 what?
Slocky, what's it died for? Like, that was about
1960s. Yeah, 1969.
No,
Not 69. No, not 69.
No, that's what's called. No, that's what's called. No, something else. Okay. No, it was
When the
like,
Civil Rights Movement started.
I think around 1962.
yeah,
1962.
Yeah, you're right.
I was a child, so.
No sweat.
Don't tell me.
So now, Civil Rights Movement started in 1962.
It started before then.
And it started before then, but like let's say like it became like an official thing,
Yeah.
right? So now
Around that
back
time.
then, blacks were fighting for equal rights. Blacks were fighting to say, hey, they had signs that, hey, I'm a man, I am somebody, right? Blacks were fighting to say, hey, don't kill me, respect me. And now here we are in 2022.
And still the
And
same way.
still saying the same thing. We're still saying the same thing. Can somebody look up the
Slocky, sir.
The,
Started in 1955.
oh my God, thank you very much. 1955.
Yeah.
1955. You see what I'm saying? I mean, and essentially, right? I think that might be like a full generation, because a generation is at least what, 50 years, right? So that's at least one generation. 50 years. We've been saying we are people too. For 50 years, we've been saying you don't have to kill us. Respect us. Let's try something different. So in 1955, civil rights became an official movement. But now 1969, understanding that you were an Israelite came about, right? With the I.S.U.P.K. And we've just been moving forward. The civil rights movement just moves in circles. That's all it does. The civil rights movement does not make any progress at all. It never makes any progress. All right? And you look at their leaders. They've been saying the same thing, okay, and getting the same results. All right? How many laws were passed because somebody marched? Right? Think about it. Like seriously, like just and that's what we're saying, like let's see just how practical that is. Let's say, you know what, we're gonna get up and we're gonna march down the street and say, ha ha ha. That's what's gonna happen. And what are they gonna do? They're gonna laugh at you. And then they're also gonna infiltrate your protest. Go ahead, sis.
It seems that the alphabet community have gotten more benefits from the civil rights
Absolutely.
than we have.
Absolutely, they have. They've got more rights. They've got more benefits.
More, I would say.
No, absolutely right. That's the right word. That's the correct word. That's the perfect word. Matter of fact, they've got more benefits. What have blacks gotten? Bullets. That's what they've gotten. All right. When we see like the Black Lives Matter, what happened? I always tell people this: they were met with police and tanks. But now, but Karen gets upset because the government says she doesn't have the right to kill her baby. And guess what? When she walks down the street for a protest, she has a police escort. She makes national news. And even the president sides with her and says, oh man, this is a sad time because my lady here can't kill her babies. You see what kind of like world we're in? How practical is that? To march up and down the street and say that abortion rights is human rights, and you have a baby in your hand. You have your baby. You are walking with your baby in your hand. So, Pops, you had something to say? You wanted?
Yeah, pretty much. It was like how crazy it is. Like with the age hate thing, the agent had the march not do anything. Only thing was happening to him, like they got beat up at a train station, supposedly by other nations, people like blacks, whatnot, and that parlor where the person shot up them non-Asians because he don't get that happy ending.
Mm-hmm.
That how the bill got passed. That to get more privilege than us. And like the Ukrainians, just because Russia shot some missiles over there, killed some of the people, they can live a little free. But we always try to be like, we got to march, we got to work harder, we got to do all this, and all your pastors saying, God, we got to still love everybody. Ain't no bill passed or anything for it. The same thing been happening since then. And Biden said about that abortion thing, it's about, you got to be really sad about her rapist baby got to be born. I'm like, what if she did get raped? What happened to the morning after pill or something? You can take that.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't got to worry about, being pregnant. I'm like,
see,
you show it like that pro-choice. You choose to have sex without a condom or without that morning pill. So it's like it's not forced on you. You know what I'm saying? And yeah.
No, I understand what you're saying, and see what you're bringing home is like the propaganda that America portrays. Like with these rights, they're saying like, oh, and I understand that there are, and unfortunately there have been a lot of women that were raped. You know what I'm saying? And that should not have happened at all. It should not have happened. But we also have to understand that there are just a lot of bitter women that just want to have their way. All right? And I've seen some of the stats. I forget the stats, but like as far as like the women who became pregnant because they were raped, it's not as much. It's not as much as America propagates at all. It's not like that at all. Officer Gershon, you had something?
Come on, I just want to say such a heavy topic, and you can't help but to blame the Christian church, man. I mean, even like for instance, like Deuteronomy 23:6, as a precept, thou shalt not seek their peace, nor their prosperity all the days forever.
Right.
We don't, it's hard to even believe Martin, well, I'm going to start calling Martin King, Michael King, because that was his real name, But it's hard to even believe that he actually read the Bible, because clearly right in the scripture tell you not to be seeking their peace. You ain't got to be out here protesting.
No, he read the Bible. I believe he read the Bible, but he
had his own agenda.
Yeah, he had his own agenda.
Just getting out there protesting, trying to seek these people peace, to fight to be equal when the scriptures say that we're above these people. The math doesn't even add up. The mentality of it doesn't even add up. And being so hypocritical to be pro-abortion, you hate life. You hate everything that the God of the living stands for. You know, it's like the biggest hypocritical scam ever. You know, to sit there and be, oh, I'm pro-life, but I'm pro-abortion. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'll tell you this. A lot of that is, a lot of them, there's a lot of hate in their hearts. But unfortunately, that hate pretty much comes from the Christian church. All right? And for those women who unfortunately made that decision to go with that abortion, they did that because they felt they had no. So a lot of women, and a lot of our women, they do it because they feel they have no choice. All right, you know, you've heard. I'm pretty sure people have heard the line, the cliche. It takes a village to raise a child. All right, and for those women who become pregnant, and what happens? Their man leaves them. Now those women feel that they don't have anybody else to support them. They feel that they're left alone. There's nobody to talk to. There's nobody that's going to help raise their child. You know, and then, you know what I'm saying, because of also the Christian church will put a woman on an agenda that she has to be just so career based and just focus on the job and focus on making money. All right? But that's why we're here talking about these scriptures. That's why we're here talking about these stories, this history. All right? And also giving those women a way out. Because we're saying now, hey, we're the I.S.U.P.K. We've been here since 1969, sis. If you don't want that child, no sweat. Bring that child to us. Bring that child to us. You don't have to abort your baby. You don't have to give them to an orphanage who's going to put them in a system where they might end up God knows where. But you can send that child to the I.S.U.P.K. Send the child to Commander Yahanna, and he will help raise that child. Right? He will raise that son to be a police officer of the Most High. He will raise that daughter to be a princess of the Most High. All right, and grow up to be a woman of great stature and status. All right, and be a woman that is worthy of being a wife. All right, that's what we're trying to do here. Okay, let's continue on. I know we got a few more scriptures we can try. Let's see. We started at 20. Are we at 21?
21, sir.
Okay, we got to go to 21. Let's go to 21.
Deuteronomy 3:21, last verse. And I commanded Joshua at that time, saying, Thine eyes have seen all that the Lord your God hath done unto these two kings.
Mm-hmm.
So shall the Lord do unto all the unto all the kingdoms whither thou passest.
Okay. So now, getting back to the scriptures, you see that Moses is speaking. We also see that here comes Joshua into play, and Joshua is being shown what the Most High has done to just a few of the enemies of the Israelites. All right, and now read that last part again about thine eyes.
Thine eyes have seen all the Lord your God hath done unto these two kingdoms.
Okay, right. Cool. So now, and earlier we read scriptures that what happened? That the Most High had those cities, those kingdoms, and they were what? They were earlier, like last week we talked about it, and they were what? They were utterly destroyed. Utterly destroyed. Like they were. There's no more remembrance of those people, those kingdoms. All right, enemies of the Most High, enemies of the Israelites. Okay. And then read the next sentence.
So shall the Lord do unto all the kingdoms whither thou passest.
So shall the Lord do to them as well, man. The Lord is going to do that. The Lord will destroy your enemies. He will utterly destroy them, and He will put you in a place to rule. All right? The Most High wants to do that, but in order to do that, our people must be in order. All right? We have to be in order with the Most High. You have to be. Because if not, the Most High is not going to fight for you. Most High's not going to fight for you. Most High's not going to fight for you if you want to just give him compliments. Okay? Because that's what the Christian church does. The Christian church is all about giving praise. That's what they do. That's what they do. They give praise. So if I could, just a quick example. Sisters, let's say if you, hypothetically, because I know we don't have sisters like that out in the world. We had sisters, if you knew a woman who cheated on her man, she slept with another guy. Now, would it make sense for her to get back, for that man to forgive her, if all she said was, I'm sorry, you're just so good, you're the best? It wouldn't make any sense. Not at all. But now, that's what the church does. The church, because of Christianity, our people side with other ideologies. They side with other doctrines. All right? And they betrayed the Most High. Our people have betrayed the Most High. But the church is going to teach you, all you have to do is just ask for forgiveness. Give compliments. That's all you have to do. And the Most High is going to forgive you. The church never says that you have to really turn from your ways. They'll talk about repentance and whatnot. But repentance always takes a back seat to praise. Right? You always have to just give praise, man. And according to these scriptures, we're not seeing that. The scriptures say that you have to be in obedience. As the sister said, you have to be in obedience to the Most High. Follow after the orders, okay? Because the scriptures say, if you can do that, what's going to happen? So shall the what? What does it say? Yeah, you've done to these two kings, and what's going to happen? The Most High will do unto all the kingdoms whether thou passest. All right? You have to be in order with the Most High, because He will fight for you, and He will destroy your enemies. But be in order. Be in order. That's what we have to do. All right? Any questions before we end?
Go
ahead.
I was just going to say, it was so heavy what you were bringing out about, about following the Most High, the orders, the orders, everything. It's crazy that, the Christian community, they're still in the mindset of, against the scripture. The Most High God want to come and destroy our enemies. He actually wants to smite them, smoke them, smoke. But you're still trying to seek their peace. The Most High is not trying to seek your enemy's peace. You know what I'm saying? He wants to destroy them. So the balance of, spirituality is totally off, because no way you have the spirit of the Most High when He wants to actually destroy your enemy and you're trying to seek their peace. That's two totally different, type mindset, type spirit, type action. Smart.
No, you're absolutely right, man. We have to understand that our people, our people's mentality is to seek peace with their oppressor. They seek peace with their oppressor, but they don't seek peace with their brother. Okay, they don't seek peace with their brother. They don't seek peace with their sister. That's why we have so many murders in the streets. They don't seek peace because we don't seek peace, and that's why we have so many broken relationships. Because of what? Irreconcilable differences. Okay, I hate you, you hate me. But again, man, follow after these scriptures. Love your brother as yourself. Follow after the Most High. And the Most High is going to fight for you, man. The Most High will put together will strengthen your relationships amongst your people. Because your relationship with the Most High your obedience with the Most High, Salaki, will be strengthened. Right? You're following after the orders, man. And that's what we got to do. All right? And with that, we end the Sabbath session. Everybody stand. Roger?
Shalom.
means to stand. So like you stand if you are able to. Okay? Yahanna means to face the east.
Here, the Lord pray in Hebrew, Abanawa, Bashamai, Kodash, Ayah, I.S.U.P.K, Yahweh, I.S.U.P.K, Baratza, Kawa, Ayah, Bashamai, Bakam, Cow, Yawam, Wasalakina, Kawakina, Kasalakina, Wala'ah, by side one, a ball, our side now, Mayan, Rai, Kayak, Lakak, Morocco, I'm a Paros, Wa Aman.
This is the Lord prayer in English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. So be it. Sorry? Sisters, you may be seated. Right. Shall we be seated?
Here's the I.S.U.P.K's killer announcements. We're at the I.S.U.P.K store, 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Room for a new brother and sister. When a new brother and sister come to the school, they are living for 6 months. They are here to be saluted only. They are here to set themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6 month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment in the book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 21, and the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 8 to 10. My Ishra means 10 in the Hebrew. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Gives to the treasury department or teacher. Priest funds, free will offer for priests not mandatory. Whatsoever like to give. This coming holy convocation is going to be the feast of the memorial of blowing the trumpets. It will be September 25th, Sunday, sundown. Remind Akim while walking in to check the bulletin board in the hallway. If any brother wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black, boots, shirt, pant, headband, and a scarf. And make sure you Google his address every time you head to the school. And the address is 3353 Little Road, Decatur, Georgia. That, give one curse salute to the teacher. Men Israel, Almighty. Men Israel, Almighty Sabbath, Almighty, Rock. Yahanna, Well, I said to you in the Lashwan Kadash, in the Hebrew, may the Most High, in the name of Christ, bless you. Yahanna on the top means hands down. Sisters, Almighty means to stand.
Those who are able to, if you
are
able to stand,
you may stand.
So if you're not, then no sweat.
Okay.
Okay, Sarah, turn to sisters. Give one curse salute to the sisters. Men Israel, Almighty Sabbath, Almighty, Barak, Yahweh Shabbat,
Yahweh Shema done by Hashem Yahweh Shai.
But I said to y'all sister in the Lashwan Kadash, that means may the Most High watch over you in the name of Christ. Y'all up top, mean hands down, classes.